If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There's certain tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Hi everyone. Okay, welcome back to the podcast. Today I have a special guest. It's my friend. She's back in town. And welcome Zori to the podcast.
Hello.
Okay, so today we're going to talk about essentially fake witchcraft, but like a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, a bunch of different,
that.
just like whatever comes to mind.
And like, yeah. And also a full moon is going to be on Friday, so we can talk a little bit about that. And we have different affirmations, and we can talk about the phases.
Yeah.
Okay.
What got us started was you were talking about how you got these books from Five Below. And I was like, this is like the good part of witchcraft getting trendy, is that you can find stuff like this at Five Below. And on the other hand, you have stuff like those like fake crystal bracelets that they sell there.
Yeah,
they're like
Five
literal plastic. But like you have these three books that one's like house magic, herbal magic, and moon magic.
And they all came together in a pack of 3 for only $5. So that's like the
just
good.
So nice. And they have a lot of information in them too.
Yeah, no,
like
actually they really do. And they're not that long of books. They have like essentially like 50 pages or something, but it has a lot of good information in here for like $5.
It's
like,
very good, like beginner, like honestly for anybody, even just like take it on the go stuff. Yeah, very much like.
And I feel like it's easy to comprehend and like, remember. And it has some visuals, which is nice. It has like visuals of like all the different moon phases, so you can see. Let's see, like, what was, the 8 phases, and like, where did we just see it? Hold on. Oh yeah, like, the different phases, so like, it says like stuff like the new moon, this is the time to set intentions, and then like, it will tell the action and the, affirmations, so like, initiate a new relationship, look for a new job, get that new haircut to create a new you, say hello, send a smile, write a note, have a conversation, pay attention to new people who enter your life, affirmation, like light a pink candle and say, I welcome new opportunities and experiences. I want to say the full moon one, because we have a full moon coming up, so this is something that you can do.
Yeah, the full moon one says, for actions, like, accepting congratulations, showing gratitude for your accomplishments, taking time to enjoy the moment, let go of thoughts and ideas not aligned with your goals, take a breath and celebrate, and consider what may still need work. Affirmation, I am successful even when I fail. I think that these are pretty, like, accurate, too.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Because the general idea around, like, a full moon is your manifestations coming into fruition, like everything that you set forth for the new moon actually like fully being there, and also letting go of anything that's not gonna serve you like further into your journey. And that's basically what it said in short. I
like how it's very simplistic.
Yeah,
so,
it's
like,
not like too much. It's not, there's not like a whole lot of extra stuff that they put in it, which is nice. I like these books like this because they're really good for beginners, and they're cheap. Obviously 3 books for what, $5?
Yeah, that's like
so nice.
$2 a book.
Yeah, because I know a lot of times when you're looking, when we were first getting into like witchcraft and stuff, we were looking at like Barnes and Noble for like books like this, The Modern Guide to Witchcraft, by
which
Sky
this
Alexander.
one wasn't even as expensive as like
a lot of
it says it in the back. I think it was like 14 or 12.
$16.99.
See, that I even was like, that's not that bad though, because most
some
books
of them
are like $25.
Oh my god, they get so expensive. And it's like, I think that like ties into a lot of like how witchcraft gets like, it's because it's so popularized now. It's like
trendy.
It's trendy. It gets like capitalized on. So like you have all of, like, every store ever trying to sell crystals now. Like, that's why Five Below has crystals in air
Don't
quotes.
buy your crystals from Five Below.
Like,
they're very fake.
Don't do that. I mean, at the end of the day, if you want to get, like, something like a fake rose quartz bracelet from Five Below, it's not going to harm you, but like,
it's not going to do you any good.
It's not going to do anything special for you. Unless you just like the way it looks, then that's fine. But other than that, it's not going to do what, like, a rose quartz necessarily would do. Aside from that, a lot of witchcraft is mental. So, like, if anybody tries to sell you anything saying that you need this, you don't.
Yeah.
And you should just, like, cross-reference and look into everything that you're told and take everything with, like, a grain of salt anyway. But books are so helpful.
No, really. Because having knowledge is the most important thing.
It really
to all
is.
Of this.
It really is. I think before you start anything, you should at least, like, read a book.
Yeah. And so the book we recommend is The Modern Guide to Witchcraft. I bought it off of Amazon.
I got mine on my phone, on iBooks, and what was nice about that is I could read it anywhere with, like, without, like, a book light or anything, too, which was nice. But it is nice to have a physical copy, like, as well, because you can, like, put little notes in it and, like, read.
And the cover is so cute.
The cover
is
adorable.
So, like, rustic.
Yes, and this is by Sky Alexander, and they have, like, a lot of other
Is that where you bought your Green Witch book too, or no?
No, no, it's by somebody else. Yeah, but they have this one. I forgot. They have one about, like, tarot too. They just have so many different kinds of books, but this one's, like, just a modern, like, a full-on, like, guide to witchcraft in general, and it's a really good start. I fully finished, like, the book. I read it, and it goes over everything. I'd say it's a very, like, unbiased book too. It doesn't say from, like, it's not just Wicca or just like any particular thing. It goes over, like, all the different options that there are and different ways that you can practice witchcraft.
Right, and it's so, like, good for someone who has zero idea about it. Like, the first chapter, like, the first part really,
it's, like, so good.
It explains it in a way to people, like, even people who are against, like, witchcraft, if they read, like, the first page, it, like, I don't know, it, like, makes so much, like, I don't know what I'm trying to say,
like, it does, like, it makes, like, the analogies, like,
right, like
how, it brings you into the, it
makes someone, like, realize, like, you know, oh, a witch isn't just, like, you know, some old lady and, like,
it's not exactly what you think, because there's so many, like, misconceptions about witchcraft,
and it clears it all up.
No, it,
like,
literally
clears all
does.
of them
even
up.
now, like, when you think of, like, witchcraft on your own, you might think of, like, a certain thing or a certain aesthetic, and I think a lot of the people now that it's popularized are going after the aesthetic more than they are the actual practice.
Yes.
People come up to me all the time. I would say, like, I would say that I've been practicing witchcraft for, like, maybe 2 years now, but, like, I honestly don't do that much, but it's more of, like, a mindfulness thing.
Yes.
Rather than, like, an actual practice. Like, everybody wants to, like, have the cauldron and, like, wear the crystals and, like, burn the sage, but, like, nobody wants to do, like, their shadow work.
Right,
or, like,
right,
the things
right.
that
That's
like, you
the
have
hard work stuff.
And that's the stuff that you have to do to make any of it. Like, if your intro to witchcraft is, like, I want to do a love spell so my crush will like me, like, you're in it for the wrong reason.
Oh yeah, if you're and you have to learn your history before even doing spells.
Oh yeah,
like, spells are, like, that takes so long to get up to spells.
It
like,
really
you
does.
need to read some books,
and
you need to do your research.
So much energy, like, people
they do.
Don't even realize, even like when I wouldn't even consider myself, like, an advanced witch, not even close.
Yeah, no,
like,
we're still baby witches.
I'm still, like in the
of.
beginning of, like, figuring everything out, but, like, even the, like, super advanced witches talk about how, like, there's times where they don't do spell work for, like, a year.
Yeah.
Or, like, don't do anything like that for, like, a long period of time, just because it's a lot. But it's more of, like, what I learned, at least from this book, is that it's more of, like, a mindfulness thing. Like, taking it with you everywhere you go.
Yeah.
Stirring, like, looking at your coffee in the morning and stirring some intention into it. Like, it's...
Right.
You can do... It's, like, the little things that make your life, like, better in that sense by using witchcraft. And...
Yep.
it's
I would say also
the
the basics of it are meditation. Like, you have to want to meditate and stuff, because you have to get, like, not necessarily like a clear mind per se, but you have to get your mindset into all of this before you can physically do any of this.
No, definitely. You have to be able to, like, focus, and a lot of spell work in general, anything that you do is focus. And if you can't, like, pay attention to something for, like, a long time, if, like, that's
patience,
okay,
having patience,
but if you can't do it, you just have to work on that before you're, like, actually doing spell work, because otherwise you're gonna get,
just dive into it.
You're gonna get everything all mixed up, and it's honestly not worth it. Chances are, after you actually do the research and, like, going into it and realizing everything behind it, whatever brought you to want to, like, do a certain spell or, like, a love spell, chances are you won't even, like, really want to do that spell anymore. You're just gonna be like, oh, well, I don't need that thing. Like, once you realize how that works, it starts to all make sense. But aside from that, I think you said, like, one of the main things is meditation, and I think that that's really important, but I think it's also important to talk about, like, all of witchcraft is, like, mindfulness and basically manifestation.
Yeah.
And a spell essentially is a physical adaptation of, like, manifestation.
Yeah. Yep.
So you could do any spell that you wanted to do just in your mind, but, like, spells, like, using physical items makes it easier to, like, make those things come to life. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think the best way I could explain it is, like, you could think of a scenario in your head, but it might make more sense to use, like, dolls to act it out in your head, right? So that would be, like, the difference between just, like, intent and, like, all that other stuff. And intention is, like, the biggest thing behind manifestation, is, like, what is your intent, you know?
The thing about manifestation that gets, like, it's, like, you have to be able to let it go. Like, you can't, this is very hard.
It's the hardest part, because it's, like, you want it.
You want it so bad, and you have to not, like, think about it all the time. Like, it's hard. That's where, like, the line gets, like, blurry, because they say, okay, think about it all the time until it comes true. You know what I mean? Because whatever your mind is set up, like, on, if you're always thinking about it, then it has to come true. But also, I've heard, okay, do your manifestation and, you know, do your affirmations, say what you want, and, like, whatever, like, if you want to attract money, and then they say, like, okay, and then after that, you're supposed to let that go and not think about it, and then, like, it will come back to you. So, like, it's like a blurred line, I feel, sometimes.
It really is blurry sometimes. I think of it like, I don't know, I do find that things come to me a lot easier when I'm not attached to them. Which is hard, because it's most of the things that I've manifested. For example, when I was talking about podcasts, and we were, like, doing that, like, I was not attached to having a podcast. I just was like, wow, that would be really cool, and it had been on my mind a lot. But, like, I also wasn't attached to it at all. I just was like, oh, it would be so cool if I had one. And then, like, I kept talking about it with my friend, and then all of a sudden, I have a podcast coming up. And you are like, let's do a podcast. And I'm like, where is all this coming from? But it's because it wasn't, like, something where I was like, I need this to happen. It's like, when you're so attached to something, you, like, inevitably drive yourself farther from it, because if you're like, I want, it, like, it reminds you that you currently don't have it. Which is why manifestation, it's like, it's hard, because you have to be in that mindset of, like, I already have this thing. And if you already have it, you're not, like, chasing after it, which is where gratitude comes in, which is why you have to do gratitude before you do spells and stuff like that, because it puts you in a mindset of, like, this is just something that's going to come to me, because I already have everything else I need. Like, I have everything else I need, and you know, whatever. Which is why wording is so specific. Like, I did actually, like, a money spell, I guess. I do that all the time. I did it, so it's funny, because it's like, I didn't really think of it as a spell. I just was like, I want to see, like, what happens, and I was bored one morning at work. So I took out a piece of paper, I write some words on it of, like, abundance, like, manifestation. I put it, like, like, because I have a drawer. I work at, like, front of a cashier. So I put it, like, I rub it on the $20 bills. I rub it on the 5s. I don't do it on the 1s because material girl. But I do, like, 5s, 10s, 20s. And then I, like, let it just, like, sit in the drawer with the money and, like, feel that vibe. And I crumpled it up, threw it in the tip jar, and forgot about it. This day,
was a piece of paper you wrote on?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I crumbled it up, threw it in the tip jar, forgot about it. By the end of the day, I'd made, I'm not going to say it was, like, substantial. I would say, like, maybe by the end of the day, normally it would be, like, $60 in tips.
At your work?
Yeah, and that's good. That's a good amount of money.
Yeah, I mean,
that day I left with, like, 100.
Yeah. So, like, almost
and it was
doubled
rare.
your money.
Yeah, it almost, like, it was, like...
So you threw it in the tip jar of, like, the whole work tip jar?
And this has worked more than once. Like, I don't do it all the time because I was just like, I feel like it ruins it. But, like, every once in a while, I'll just be like, you know what? We deserve it. And, like, I throw it in there.
Right.
And I'll do it. And so some other people started doing it. Because they're not doing it right.
Right. You're like, please stop. You're not.
Yeah, because what people, I think when people look at witchcraft and things like this, they're like, oh, it's the piece of paper she threw in there.
Right.
The piece of paper has nothing to do with it. It's my intention behind it.
Yep.
It's the visuals. Like, while I was writing, I was, like, visualizing people putting money in the, like, it's all about your mental and, like, what's going on in there. And so not only that, but I wrote, like, things like, oh my god, everybody's tipping today, like, and writing, like, money and, like, seeing, like, I was visualizing, like, after people, like, do their card, like, I could see that they left, like, a $5 tip, like a $10 tip, and people are writing on this paper, we will get so much money today.
Oh, no.
Or, like, people are gonna tip us, and
that's fine to write down, but then in your head you have to also back it up.
Yes, and not only that, but, like, will is also reinforcing that you already don't have that thing. Which is why affirmations are supposed to be in the present tense, because if you put it in the future, like, I'm gonna be so rich, it just affirms that you already aren't.
True.
Which sounds so weird, but, like, it's true. You have to say, I am abundant. So, like, if you're not rich, that's not to say that, like, if you want to manifest being rich, that you have to write down, I am rich. Because you're not going to feel rich. But you should write down, you are abundant. And think about all the abundant things that you have. Even if you don't have a lot of money, be like, I'm abundant in all these different ways. Why wouldn't I be abundant in money as well? And that, like, eventually will come to you. But I think that's, like, something that a lot of people don't think about when they just, like, see all these trendy, like, manifestation, like the 3-6 whatever method, which, like, are good. Like, those methods there's nothing wrong with them. It's just that people think that it's, like, the writing it down 3 times for 33 days that is making it happen, when really it's, like, the visualizing. The method is just a tool to help you visualize better. But, like, it's not, if you're sitting down and you, like, space out and you're thinking about, like, what you're gonna have for dinner as you're writing, like, I will have so much money, like, you're not gonna get anything. You have to sit there and, like, think about it and embody it, which is why meditation is so important. Yes. Like you were saying.
Yeah, so, like, if I'm trying to, like, attract money or something, I, like, I say things like, I am a money magnet, or, like, money comes easily to me, or, like, I attract wealth or money, or I already have so much money, and then you sit there and you, like, can visualize, like, stacks of money coming to you or something. I usually, like, I don't know, I like to do my, like, manifestations, like, when I take a bath, like, I like to put some, essential oils in, and then, like, light a candle, and then I like to, like, sit in there and relax and get in a good headspace, and then, you know, like, talk out loud.
I love the idea of bath magic.
Oh my god.
I don't do it because I hate my bath at home.
I don't have a bath at my house, but when I go to my dad's and he's not home and I'm there for the night, like, I'll use his bath because it's, like, a nice size bath and it's just a good vibe.
My idea is, like, jacuzzi energy with, like, flower petals in it. Like,
yes.
Sounds amazing.
No, that sounds nice.
And you can use whatever you have, too. Like, I think a lot of, like, this book, too, The Modern Guide to Witchcraft by Sky Alexander, it has, like, a lot of recipes in it and stuff like that. And, like, people think that they have to, like, follow these things to a T, which you don't have to. Like, you can change anything up and make it your own. Just, like, look up what you want to do and, like, look up what herbs or, like, crystals aligned with that, and you can literally make it's actually more powerful if you make your own.
True.
Than if you
copying
somebody else's.
From the book.
If you copy somebody else's, there's nothing wrong with that, but again, it makes it harder to have the visualization.
True.
Because you're literally just like copying it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if you do it from a book, you just have to remember like to make, or even just pretend like you made it up. If you did it from a book, like pretend like, I picked all these things because I noticed when I started picking like my own herbs and like looking them up and being like, what herbs are good from this, and I picked them all individually myself and put like intent into them, I was like, this feels like really nice, like to make your own, and like it feels like you did it all from like the ground up, and it makes you believe in what you're doing a little bit more. Right. Rather than just like taking it from a book. It's not about the actual like recipe or the writing it down or the method that you do. It's about how you do it more.
Yeah, and I like how that book though, it doesn't like in that one chapter it talks about all the herbs and different properties for them and what you can use them for, and then there's like a section with crystals and what they're used for and like their different properties, and then there was something else in there, but it talks a lot about like the history too of like witchcraft.
It goes over a lot of history, and I like how before they even get to spells, they go
through
all
everything.
Over. Yeah, there's 2 parts in the book, and the first part is Welcome to the Wonderful World of Witchcraft, and then the second part is an open grimoire. So that's where it talks about like all of the things, all of the spells and stuff, but the first part really just gets you like get your feet wet. Yeah. Like into witchcraft, and it's like it talks about how everything is good, and it goes over like sacred spaces, altars, shrines, like different things that you can do, and I like that it's not closed-minded in the sense of like, I'm pretty sure, I haven't read this in a while, but I remember it being really good, obviously, and I'm pretty sure they talk about in this book how you don't have to have any of like the physical stuff, right? Which is really important, how it's mostly just off of intent, but like physical things are also super fun.
It's very open-minded, and I feel like it simplifies things like really good for people. Like I would literally recommend this to someone who's not even into witchcraft, just to understand like if you're a judgy person about like, witches, witchcraft, bad shit, like, no, read this book, and you will think otherwise. If you think that witches are just like voodoo and black magic and bad vibes, I suggest you to read this book because it changes your perspective on it.
And witchcraft is like not about that, like, at all. Obviously the media shows like that side of witchcraft, which sucks. It sucks. It's nice because it's like fun, but like witches aren't the witches from Hocus Pocus who are like trying to eat children. Like,
and that was also a movie so long ago that like back then, like if you were a witch, you were probably very hidden about it. Like it wasn't.
No, I was talking about that with, I forget who I was talking about that with, but we were talking about the Salem witch trials and how like all the people that died weren't witches. Yeah. like if there were some that were witches, there was probably very like few, but the real witches like stayed to themselves. Yeah. Like they were doing their little practices, and they were very like, because they knew that those people like didn't fuck with that, like, right. So I don't know.
I just hate how it has a bad
people automatically are like
a bad stigma to it. Or whatever.
And that too, like people think witchcraft is like a religion. I don't subscribe to any religion.
I think it's like a practice.
It is. It's just like, you can be any religion and practice witchcraft.
But like, it's like when people are like, oh, like, what's your beliefs? And you're like, oh, I'm a witch. Yeah. They're just like a witch, like an actual witch.
Yeah, like they think I'm like,
bro, I don't like hunt around in the woods with a cape.
And I'm also not like picking eyes out of frogs and putting them in jars. Like that's not what it is. It's more of just
brewing
like
up
it's more of like when I walk past the grass, I'm like, oh
it's like a way it's a way of living. And this book has a good like little paragraph in it that really explains, like, it's like, you don't know how many people are witches. Like, a lot of people are witches. I literally in one part of that book, in a little section, it says that most of the population in the U.S. are like witchcraft, and like it literally is anyone from a doctor to you literally have no clue, a dentist, like anything.
And some of the most peaceful people are witches, because the whole idea about witchcraft is to understand and appreciate like everything around you. Yeah, like that's the whole point. Like it has nothing to do with, like, Satan.
Yeah,
like,
no,
it literally has nothing to do.
That's just, like, bad voodoo. Like, if you're doing, like, bad voodoo and, like, black magic, that's contacting, like, the devil and stuff.
Yeah, well, like, if you're a Satanist, you could be a witch.
Yeah.
And you're probably doing dark magic.
Yeah.
But not everybody who's a witch is doing
literally
that.
only, like, not even a fourth of, like, witches do
people
black
get
magic.
so scared about witchcraft, and I'm like, dude, I'm just stirring my tea and smiling while I do it.
Yeah.
That's literally it. Like,
it does, like, being a witch gives you a greater, like, appreciation for everything around you.
Oh, it definitely does. And that's why I, like, encourage people who, like, it's nice that it's getting trendy and more traction because it's getting less, like, frowned upon.
True.
But, the bad half of that is that people are very much misunderstanding it because they're getting all their information from, like, TikTok or, like, just random people on the internet who are like, oh, well, blah, blah, blah. Like, I just encourage people, like, do their own research and look into it because it's a really nice practice. Like, we were talking about how, like, I barely do anything for it. I'm in college right now. Like, I brought a lot of my herbs with me, like, in little jars, and I, like, keep my crystals charged and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I honestly don't do a lot. It's very much mental for me, and, that's okay.
Yeah.
Like, that's totally fine. But I have all these, like, all this knowledge in my reservoir for whenever I feel like I need it, you know what I mean? So, it's really, like, humbling practice, too.
Yeah,
like, it's
it
nice.
really is. Because there is so much to learn. I feel like I'll never stop learning.
No,
I feel
you
like
can't. You
even if
literally
you're
can't.
very skilled and experienced in the practice, you're always learning more. Like, there's just... Like, every time I think I know so much about it, I'm like, no, I don't. Like, I really don't.
Literally,
like,
and it's also, like, I encourage people to look into things that you're not even interested in, too. Like, just understand, like, different practices and why people do certain things in certain practices, or why you shouldn't do certain things in certain practices. All of it's important, and all of it can help you in your own, like, magic journey.
Yeah. The only thing about it getting more popular, like, also the bad part to that is people are just trying to, like, I feel like people just want to do spells and have, like, instant gratification.
Yeah,
like,
that's the problem.
I hate my ex.
Yeah.
Let me do some fuck shit
like,
to him.
Like, no, literally,
you know
they don't even realize, like, how it's gonna bite them in the ass. Like, or even if it doesn't bite them in the ass, they don't even realize what they're doing. That's what I don't like, is, like, a lot of people are taking it exactly what you said into, like, an instant gratification type of thing.
Yeah.
And people are like, oh, well, like, I saw, and that too, what really is popularized right now is manifestation, not as much witchcraft.
No, it is. It's all.
Because if you tell, I swear, if you tell, like, the same girl who's like, oh, I want to get into crystals, that you're a witch, she's gonna look at you weird.
Yeah.
But, like, if you say I'm manifesting, really they're the same fucking thing.
Wrong.
And people are like, oh, no, there's a difference. Like, I always, like, I don't go around telling people I'm a fucking witch.
No, but
I think of myself as a witch, like...
When they ask, though, like, when people ask, I almost do want to say I'm a witch more than saying I'm spiritual, because that can get misconstrued.
It does.
Like, spiritual is also, like,
connected to
religion.
And I don't want...
Catholicism.
That's why I like to just say I'm a witch, but then when I say that, people are like, oh, so you're a
look
Satanist.
at you sideways.
Because they have
like,
their own definition of what that means. Yeah, and I'm like, I don't even believe in the devil.
Like, alright, how about you open your mind?
Like, open your mind.
Witches don't actually believe in the devil. They only believe in higher deities and gods and goddesses, but okay. Like, I would say that the devil part of witchcraft would be black magic. So and you can choose to practice that.
Also, just like witchcraft, again, like, in general, witchcraft is like atheist.
Yeah. Like, it's...
it literally is, like, witchcraft itself is atheist, and then once you start to, like, add, like, some kind of like, religion to it, that's just different. Like, it can still be, you can be Christian and practice witchcraft. You can be a Satanist and practice witchcraft. A lot of Christians won't want to practice witchcraft because they have this ideology about it. But you could be. Yeah. Because, like, at the end of the day, stirring, like, looking, again, I keep using this tea analogy, but it's literally something I do all the time. Drinking tea and, like, stirring it clockwise and thinking about all of, like, the happiness that is going to come to you soon. You can do that as a Christian. That's not... Some people might say it's different, but, like, it's not anything inherently, like, satanic, and or even just religious in general. And you can do that, and it's totally fine. And in fact, a lot of Christians do practice witchcraft. A lot of people in general practice witchcraft and they don't even like realize it. So
that's what I was gonna say. I was hoping you'd say that because
no, they don't even like the birthday candle.
I was just about to say that. The birthday candle, like half of you people don't even know when you're blowing out your birthday candles that is literally
that's witchcraft.
Because you're wishing, you're making a wish.
No, and you can even see if you see videos of people blowing out candles, like you can see in their mind when they start to think about their wish, or like mostly kids, because like.
Yep.
But like kids will like they start to think they think about their wish and then everyone's singing happy birthday and right at the end of the song, like that is a whole ritual.
Yes.
Right at the end of the song,
no one even realizes
you blow out the candles, like it's a whole ritual. Like
no one even realizes
witchcraft all the time and they're like, oh, that's weird. Like no, these are rituals that we have and that we've been practicing for years and nobody like and that too. Can we talk about Christmas and how like all of Christmas is like taken from paganism and pagans are people who they're like it's a type of religion that uses a lot of witchcraft in the religion, but again you can practice witchcraft and not have any religious whatever, but paganism like is where those holidays like Yule and like I don't know how to fucking say that. Samhain.
I probably don't know how to say it
either. Fucking whatever the other holidays are, like those are pagan holidays, and a lot of the practices from Yule got stolen from Christians, and they take it like decorating a tree. All that stuff is pagan. None of that shit is in the Bible.
I don't even think I knew that.
Yeah, and none of that shit's in the Bible. It's all pagan, and it all got like taken.
Wow.
Essentially, and those are the people who celebrate this shit in fact, there are a lot of Christians that don't celebrate Christmas because it wasn't in the Bible. I had a friend that was like, I don't believe in that.
Isn't
like,
Jesus' birthday not even on Christmas? Something like that.
It's
like,
all over the place.
Some shit in like March or something.
So I just think that's why I tell people, I'm like, open your mind and like think about what you were taught, because you literally probably are already practicing witchcraft without even realizing it.
And I feel like, and it's like Catholics and Christians, I feel like they're so close-minded. And like also, okay, I just want to say Catholics have zero room to judge about witchcraft, because I think Catholics are more of a cult than witchcraft.
A lot of religion is like organized religion is very much like
it's
culty.
So old, and they never what's it called? They never they never adapt to like new times. Mm-hmm. They stick to their like 1800s like culty stuff. Like,
again, I'd rather be stirring intention into my tea than like going to this huge like cathedral and like having to drink the quote unquote blood of Christ. That's fucking weird.
It is weird. And then they have the thing like they can turn around on us and be like, but you guys are a cult, and it's like we don't drink fake. We don't drink something that's fake blood for something like.
Also, can we talk about the pentagram, because people think that it's the
it's the devil.
No, there's
the pentacle and the pentagram.
The pentacle and pentagram are two different things. So like, pentacle is
the witch.
It's witchcraft. Upright.
Yeah.
Upright. There's a point right on top.
Yeah.
If you flip that upside down to where there's like 2 points on top and there's 1 point on the bottom, that's a pentagram.
And that's the devil thing.
That is for Satanism. Or Satan, whatever the fuck it's called.
Do you know how many people have come at my necklace and been like only few people know it's a pentacle, and I'm like,
it's like, no, I'm not worshiping Satan.
Yeah, I'm not. It's not a pentagram.
It's not the same thing.
It's tied with a crystal.
And actually,
you think that,
and it's fully, exactly. Like, what the fuck? And it's fully connected to like protection.
Yeah,
like the circle,
it is.
The circle around it is fully for protection. Upside down, it's something different. So next time you're looking at something, think about that. Is it upside down? Is it, is it the same thing? There's a difference between the two. I encourage you to look up the difference.
No, seriously, don't come at anyone unless you know the difference.
Yeah, because,
and like you look stupid if you come at someone like, oh, is that the devil's sign that you're wearing? And it's like, no, you didn't do your research. Don't come at me.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's why I'm like, I really hope people like start to open their mind up a little bit more, or even just like listen to other people, because a lot of like opinion, you can have your own opinion about anything that you want, but forming an opinion is just that. It's an opinion. It doesn't make anything a fact at all, like ever. So you can't sit here and be like, oh well, in my opinion witchcraft is like devil worship. Like, okay, in your opinion, but like realistically that's not a fact at all.
No.
Like if you do your research, it's not a fact at all.
Nope.
Like, not even a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, it has nothing to do with it. So,
we encourage you to open your mind before your mouth.
And do your own research about everything. Don't hear anything from anybody and take it, like, even us. Like, taking anything that we say and, like, just running with it. Just do your own research. Cross-check your references. Like, check different people, check different opinions, different books, and see what they all say about the same thing, and then draw your own conclusion to it. That's literally all witchcraft is about, is researching and coming up with your own conclusion. And that's why witchcraft looks different for every single person.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
it's not one, like, that's what, it's also not one, like, not every single person has the exact same thing. Yeah.
Like,
which is
like,
nice, because then you can bounce each other's ideas off of each other. Because, like, on, like, religion, it's like, oh, that's, like, straight from the Bible. Yeah, I already know that. Like, there's nothing much for us to talk about.
Yeah, it's
like,
so different. It's so different for everybody because it literally is a practice, which is why I, like, try to drill in the point that there's no religion attached to witchcraft. It just is something that you practice. What I practice and what, like, I keep saying this, but it's, like, rare that this is a thing, but I know that there are Christian witches. And it's
very rare, probably.
It is rare, but I've seen them on TikTok too. And what I practice and what, like, a Christian witch would practice are, like, two completely different things, but they're both witchcraft. You know what I mean? Like, they might do something completely different, and they might tie in things from church into their witchcraft or whatever. I would do it very differently. They probably do in fact, a lot of religion. Can we talk about how praying is manifestation?
Yes, no,
like, it is literally.
Man.
It's
so
literally
funny.
All the same
it's so
thing.
funny because I grew up, like, in a Christian household, so I can now see all the similarities of like. And now I'm thinking, like, why did anyone Christian ever come at me when you're literally practicing the same thing? Almost a little
holidays,
worse. Like,
literally worse.
Yeah, like
why is there
worse.
hate even tied into it?
Yeah.
Because they're literally, a lot of the shit that they do comes from, like, practices and witchcraft. Mostly paganism, because a lot of people back in the day were pagan. But, like, a lot of it comes from witchcraft, and they are doing it all the time. But then they look at people who do it and aren't Christian and are like, that must be devil worship. Right. Oh, and it's, like, not.
I think it's also because, like, they're, like, they judge and they stay Christian because, like, or, like, whatever religion it is, because, like, they need that safety net for when they die. So it's like, they're like, I just feel safe knowing that someone is in control of my life, my destiny, my death, all that stuff. So I'm gonna judge you, even though we're almost practicing similar things, because what's your safety net? You don't have one after you die. You just think, like, but, like, oh my god, how does it not make so much sense that energy has to go somewhere? So when you die, it's transferable. It has to
and
go.
It's, like, scientific, well, like, pretty much scientific fact that, like, energy cannot be created or destroyed.
Right.
So we are just, like, we have always been and we always will be. That's just, like, how it is.
We're just, like, souls, just, like,
and I get
a temporary body. Like,
no, literally a temporary vessel. This is just, like, where you end up. And a lot of people will be like, I get why people want a safety net, and, like, death can be scary, but if you actually just, like, do your research and look in on it, like, even at the end of the day, none of us can say for sure, we don't know, but all you can do is just, like, live your best life.
I was gonna say, don't live in fear. Like,
I don't know why anybody would, like, first of all, need a book to figure out their own morality. I don't need a book to tell me how to not be an asshole.
I was gonna say, I don't follow, like, those moral, things.
Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, I just don't be an asshole. Like, just don't be, and you'll be fine.
Right.
But, I don't know. I don't need, like, a book for that. And if you do, that's your own business, but, like, just don't be judging other people, because that literally says that in the book that they follow.
I feel like they're so judgy because we're so content with not having, like, something exactly to strictly follow, and, like, we don't have a safety
really
net,
freeing.
So we're just that's why. And I think they're intimidated by that.
I tell people, like, I get why it's scary, but it doesn't have to be.
Right.
Like, it can just be so freeing to know that there's nothing tying me here. I'm just here temporarily, like, and so I'm just gonna live the best life I can and appreciate as much as I can while I'm here. You know what I mean? Like, and that can be really, really nice. to just, like, not have anything to be scared of. So many people have, like, religious trauma, too.
That's what I was gonna say. I feel like they're intimidated by us because they have so much past trauma, and it was, like, beaten into them.
Oh, yeah.
As kids. Like,
there's people who are, like, completely, like, alt now, like, not, but grew up Christian, and still, like, I see on TikTok all the time, people are, like, sometimes I still, like, have fear that I'm gonna go to hell. Or, like, randomly, they don't even believe in God anymore.
Bro, like, it was literally instilled, like, oh, like, I swear as a kid it was instilled, like, oh, you swore? You're going to hell. Like, or you, like, you did something bad, you stole, you're going to hell. Like, no. Like, I turned it around to think, like, okay, like, karma and dharma. Like, you know, when you do something bad, like, you're eventually going to get that karma back to you. And I've, you know, noticed, like, you know, bad things I've done in my life, you know, the bad karma you get is a result to something that you did. And that's why I feel like, I know karma and dharma are, like, more associated with, like, Buddhism, but that, but
they're
also
same ideals.
with,
No, because most of religions have, like, something that ties them all together. Because I think, I'm gonna say, like, the baseline for most religions is, like, just love.
Yeah.
Just, like, love each other, be kind. Which is why I'm like, why do we have to have, like, a million different religions to, like, follow that?
Yeah.
Now everybody's fighting over love.
Right.
Like, that makes so much sense.
I know.
But, I don't know, like, the religion is just a lot. It's a lot.
No,
I'm gonna say I'm not anti-religion. The religion that I resonate most with, I'd say, is Buddhism.
Yeah.
Like,
it
is.
I feel like that's most closely tied to witchcraft and spirituality.
Definitely. And it just ties more into, like, what I believe and just, like, being a good person in general. But, I think some people just take it too far.
Yeah.
Like, because I would say there's, like, even a lot of Christians that, like, live similarly to how we do, and they're like, I don't believe that God's an asshole enough to, like, make people just go to hell.
Right. I think it's more of, like, a Catholic thing.
Yeah, no, definitely.
That's more
Catholic
traumatizing.
Yeah.
Like, that's...
So
Christianity is more, like, newer age.
Yeah.
It
is.
Because Christianity, I think, realizes that they have to adapt with how the way that society is going.
Yeah.
Or else they're just gonna be, like, Catholic and just one's gonna...
And there's a lot of Christians that, they're, like, in between, too. Because there's a lot of different, like, sectors of, like, religion. Like, it's all... And everyone thinks that they're right.
And I think people feel bad if they're Catholic or Christian. They feel bad if they grew up like that. Like, they feel bad transferring to, like, witchcraft or something like that.
Even if they don't... Even if they're, like, fuck the church, like, a lot of them, like, still have that guilt, like, inside of them. Which is, like, so sad to think about. Because it's, like, you don't need to be living your life feeling guilty because of, like, swearing.
Yeah, or, like
being gay
or just messing up.
Yeah, like none of that.
Human,
yeah,
like,
we're literally human. Like, move on. It makes you, like, stick in that mindset of just, like, fear. And why would you want to live a life in fear?
And then you get what is it? You can't deal with it, so then it builds up and it creates, like, PTSD or, like,
resentment. So many shitty things can come from that.
And, like, literally your body can start just failing because of it. Like, you can just, like, it affects a lot more than you think. Like, like, what was it? I literally saw this TikTok of this person explaining how to, I don't know if you saw, I'll have to send it to you. This person explaining how you can prevent aging. And I forget, like, exactly what it was, like, about, but the way he was explaining it was, like, just really, like, good. Because, like, it was something about, like, how you just have to, like, I don't even know. It was something about, like, don't think, like, oh, I'm getting older, and, like, all this trauma, or, like,
I think that I didn't see the video, so I don't know for sure.
It to you and we'll talk about it
but
later,
I feel like that ideology comes a lot.
Or you can
with,
slow
like,
it down.
Yeah, like it comes with, like, manifestation. Like, once you start to believe something, and I see this with, like, my mom too.
Yeah.
Like the older generations, like, literally talk themselves into the life that they don't want by being like, oh my god, like, I'm getting old, like, I'm getting wrinkly, I'm getting, like, why can't, or even just, like, I see people all the time be like, oh, I wish I could wear that, and I'm like, why?
Yeah, why can't you?
Like, why? I don't get it. Like, why can't you? And they're like, oh, like, or like, I'll wait till, like, I'm confident enough, and I'm like, if you just literally fake it till you make it.
Yeah, that is 100% with anything.
That is like how I got to where I am.
Yeah,
literally.
Because you just have to convince yourself. It's like, okay, fake it till you make it is like honestly convincing yourself that you are something.
Yeah.
Or that like that you could literally convince yourself that you're something you're not. Like if you just start like if you want to start dressing up every day, like if you want to be like, oh, I want to be like, you know, like I want really cool fashion. Just literally every day, just try to start working on dressing nice, and then like eventually,
it'll just be a reality.
Yeah.
Which is why I like tell people. A lot of people will be like, "Oh, I don't believe in affirmations. Like, I can't just tell myself I look beautiful and I'll feel better." And it's like, no, that's not the point. Again, it's like that instant gratification thing. Yep. That is not the point of it. The point is to like tell yourself that every day, because so far every day you've been telling yourself that you're ugly. Yeah. So of course you feel ugly. So why don't you change it? It doesn't hurt anything to change it. Start telling yourself you're beautiful. After a while, you're going to start to feel beautiful. I don't care if it takes a year. I don't care if it takes 2. I don't care if it takes 5. Eventually, you're going to start to feel beautiful if you do that. I personally do this all the time with myself, and it's literally, our brains are so, like, easy to manipulate. Yeah. You can do it. If you learn, like, the cheat codes of your own brain, you can cheat your way into anything. Like, and it happens to me all the time, because nobody's linear. Nobody's perfect all the time. I, like, for a while fell off with my skincare, and, like, I was starting to break out, and I was getting so annoyed, and I kept, like, picking with it, which is, like, not good. Yeah. So then I got to this point where I was like, you know what? No. I was like, I'm too cute for bad skincare. Right. And I was like, I'm just gonna fake it till I make it. So I was like, what would a hot girl do? What would, like, a girl with good skin do? And I'm like, oh, a girl with good skin, like, goes in and, like, washes her face every night. And so I just started pretending to be a girl with good skin. Yeah. And, like, adapt the routine of a girl with, like, really good skin. Yep. Of what I thought that might look like. And then all of a sudden my skin's looking better, like, the next week or the next 2 weeks. And then all of a sudden I'm, like, in this routine doing it without even thinking about it, rather than being like, I don't feel like washing my face, like, whatever. It, like, you can change your own patterns, and I think the mindset that you can't change your own patterns in and of itself is what's stopping people from, like, becoming who they want to be. They're just like, oh, I could never change. This is just, like, who I am. And it's like, no, it's not. Like, you can change it whenever you want.
I feel like a lot of famous people really go by the fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
Too. Like, I've heard a lot of them talk about, like, you just have to fake it till you make it. And then there you are. Like, I also feel like, that's important. It's really crucial with kids to, like, instill, like, good positive things in their brain, because, like, it's as simple as calling a kid dumb over and over.
Yeah,
or ugly,
they start to believe it after a while.
So if you can, like, work on doing good things to them as a kid, they will have less of, like, it'll be easier for them when they get older, because they won't have to, like, reverse too much.
Exactly. I saw something also, which is, like, kind of ties into what I was just talking about. And it sounds so stupid, but, like, I saw somebody on TikTok talk about how, like, when they don't want to do something or they start to get depressed again, they start to think of things like doing them ironically. Yeah. Like, and I think of that too. I do it, like, almost like playing a video game. Like, if you don't want to go to the gym, like, just, like, literally just act like you want to go to the gym. It sounds, like, so stupid, but, like, it works. Like, just be like, oh, like, it's a video game. Like, I'm gonna go to the gym and, like, be it. Like, I did that with my homework for the semester, because I was playing Sims over break, and I was, like, doing, like, Sims University. Yeah. And I was like, wow, I wish I could just, like, sit down and do my homework like my sim is. And so every time I had homework, I was just like, I don't want to do it. And then I was like, I'm gonna tell myself to do my homework, like, in the Sims. And literally in my own mind, I just sit down and get it done. Like, sometimes it's not that easy, but sometimes it is. Yeah. And you never know until you try. Like, you just never know.
What was I gonna say? Oh, you know what I saw, like, as of recently? Okay, back to, like, the thing of, like, how everyone who's not educated in witchcraft just looks at witches as, like, you know, old hags and, like, evil stuff. Like, I've been seeing, like, a lot of children's books. They have a lot of magic ones now.
I see
witchcraft
that too.
ones.
Oh my God,
like,
I love it.
I saw them all over Amazon, and it's all good things. It doesn't portray them as, like, scary
bad at all,
or bad old ladies and stuff. It literally portrays it just like how it should be.
And what it is. And, like,
awesome.
It's sweet. Like, it's sweet. I think I saw, like, some witches were making kids' books.
It's so cute. Like, it's literally so cute. And I think it's adorable. So good. I am getting, like, so excited about this generation, low-key, because I feel like we're really blossoming and a lot of people are like waking up,
Yeah.
having spiritual awakenings and realizing like, you know, everything.
Not
you
everything
know.
we've learned is like right.
Right. So I
Yeah.
feel like a lot of people are waking up and having spiritual awakenings, and it's just getting so exciting to see like how this whole generation could possibly change everything.
Yeah, and
like,
people are just like being themselves too, which
yeah,
is so
yeah,
nice.
it's so nice.
Like, who wants to be in a cookie cutter society where
No,
everybody
yeah.
is like the same fucking bitch? Like, I
Yeah.
don't like that.
Or like the older generations, I feel like have so much trauma that they just don't.
They never
like-
work through it,
like,
and
yeah.
then they like take it out on us.
Yeah,
and it's so annoying.
The older generations are like, everyone's so soft nowadays. Everyone's so sensitive. You know, back then we could say whatever we want and
Yeah.
people would just be okay with it.
And,
And
like, were they,
we
or
could
are
say
you traumatized?
slurs and we could say
Yeah.
everything. And then they're like, people are so soft nowadays. And it's like, no, I think people are just like actually tapping into their emotions and like
and
not
caring
being
about
rude.
what
yeah.
other people like.
Because
like,
now they have
yeah.
to deal with all that trauma
No,
of
literally,
repressing
those,
rude like
they
things
say
that are
they
said to
all
them.
say that they turned out fine, but I don't think any of them did.
No, like,
because
you
they'll
turn
be like,
out-
oh, my dad hit me and I turned out fine. And I'm like, did you? If you're hitting your kid,
Yeah,
now?
right,
like,
right.
I
And,
don't,
like,
I don't think you did.
They all turned out like assholes with
Yeah.
issues that they don't. Now they have to figure out how to like deal with it because now there's like
or like substance abuse issues
Yeah,
too.
because
Like,
now there's like podcasts and books about trauma and how to deal with it and breath work and all that.
And it's
all
work.
different ways. Yeah.
and people don't realize that it's work. And before you even want to do any spell, not saying you have to figure your whole life out because you never will. Like, you're always working to like better yourself, but before you do any spell, you have to address the things that you're not addressing. You have to tap into that part of your mind. The people that like sit here and they like are like, oh well, I don't like to meditate because when I meditate I'm like alone with my thoughts and I hear like all my like thoughts and I'm like, that's what you need to do.
You need to deal with your emotions.
You need to start dealing with the things that you're pushing back and pushing down,
repressing.
Yeah, because it's like all that shit is like your shadow self.
Yeah.
And all the shadow work that you need to do will help you like clear all of that shit out of the way. If you think about those things as like dark clouds that are just in the way of at like a bright path,
Yeah.
that's exactly the way like I kind of think about it. And it's not like those dark clouds will necessarily ever fully go away.
Yeah.
But the more you repress it, like the thicker the smoke is,
Yeah.
the thicker like the fog is, and you just need to like clear it up
Yeah. And
to the point where it's like very thin, and you just kind of like deal with it when you need to. Or sometimes you walk and it's fully clear, and then all of a sudden there's like a little bit of a cloud, but you know how to deal with it. You know what I mean?
Right, and I want to say the longer you wait, like the more years and years, like if you're 40, now you have 40 years of trauma and repression.
yeah.
Like and if you haven't dealt with anything and you're 40 and you have just all this stuff, like it's easier to, you know, the like sooner you start it, the more you can like learn how to deal with all that
and
stuff.
there's no right time specifically.
Yeah.
I know people like always think like they're waiting for like a right time to get into something. Like, start today. Do something small. You don't have to do anything big. You don't have to fully
it's
write down an entire biography of everything that's wrong with you or everything you feel like is wrong with you. You literally just have to start by like addressing the small things.
Yeah, just journal or something. Journal how you're feeling, your emotions and stuff like that. I feel like maybe people think it's like overwhelming and stuff, you know.
Of course.
I feel like it's like, people get overwhelmed and they're like, well, I don't know where to start, and I don't want to do anything wrong. Like, people are like, a lot of things with witchcraft is like, people are like, I don't think I'm doing it right. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, I don't want to not be able to do it right. Like,
exactly.
I need like a play-by-play, but like, that's not
how, and that's not how it is.
Yeah.
There is, I'm going to say like a wrong way to do certain things, but it's not like, you don't have to be so worried that you're going to do something wrong. You more just have to like focus on your intent behind everything. Like, why do you want this thing, or why are you longing for like this, or like if you're like, for example, trying to manifest like popularity, like why are you doing that? Like, think about why you're doing it before you even start. Not saying that there's anything wrong with like manifesting that. Like, you could want to be popular, but literally like in your mind you're thinking, I just want some friends. Like, I want a lot of friends. But you could also want to be popular and be like, I want everybody to think I'm so cool. Yeah. And those are like two different things, but they could be like the same spell. You know what I mean? Right. And like,
that's where the intention comes in.
That's where intention comes in, because it's like, if you're doing things just for like surface level, instant gratification type of thing. You're not going to get anything from that. Even if you were to actually manifest it, like, okay, now everyone thinks you're cool and what?
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean? Like, are you actually?
What? Yeah.
Like, actually just, like, try to think about yourself and, like, think about the little things that you want out of life, and think about I think a good place to start is think about something that you maybe don't like about yourself, which is, like, hard to do for a lot of people, which is why a lot of people don't want to do it. But think about one thing that's, like, pretty simple or surface level. Like, maybe you say sorry when you don't need to.
Yeah, like, too much.
Yeah, and, like, just work on that. Just be like, you know what? I'm going to stop saying sorry so much. And start working on it. And the first time you say it when you don't need to beat yourself up. But, like, just make a mental note. Yeah. And then eventually...
it becomes habitual.
It becomes a habit. Like, people don't realize that you can make a new habit. Yeah. Even if you're... like, it's not...
It only takes, what, like, a couple weeks?
Literally, like, I think they said it takes 21 days to start a habit.
So, like 3 weeks.
Literally, at first, it might be the hardest thing in the world. You're saying sorry every 2 seconds, and you're like, oh, my God, I can't do this. Yeah. But, like, eventually, like, a couple weeks in, you're going to be like, holy shit. Like, I'm not saying sorry to anybody now. Like, you know what I mean? So, it's, like, the little things. Like, work,
and the little things make a big difference over time if you work on them in, like,
and if you start now, you're not gonna wait like a year and ahead of time and be like, oh, like, I've been doing this for a year now. Like, because time goes so fast, you literally have to, like, just take it day by day.
I feel like learning to be vulnerable and, like, feeling your emotions is super crucial, because everyone was taught not to, like, feel, especially boys, which sucks so bad.
It's so annoying, and they fuck up society because of it.
Yes, it messes with boys as they grow to men, and then relationships, and, like, it sucks because moms and dads should really be teaching their boys and girls to feel both equally the same.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, if you feel something, just feel it, because, like, that, I was listening to a podcast on some girl with spirituality, and she says with her son, like, when he's throwing, like, a tantrum or feeling some type of way, like, you know, your reaction's, like, to get mad at them and be like, stop, like, why are you freaking out? But she's like, I sit down with him and I'm like, why are you feeling like this? Like, talk to me. How do you feel? Why do you think you're feeling like this?
That is why I have, like, a good feeling about this generation, because I know not everybody's doing that, obviously, but I see a lot of parents on TikTok, like, acting like that with their kids, and, like, taking their kids through, like, their emotions, and letting them know it's okay to feel the way they feel, but, like, maybe we need to get something done. Like, this one girl was like, oh, a lot of people are asking me, like, how I deal with my son, because he's in his no phase right now, and how do I deal with it when he says no to something that I absolutely have to do. And she said, like, an example was that she needed to put a coat on him because it was cold outside, and he was like, no, and she was like, well, like, I need to put a coat on you because it's cold, but thank you for letting me know that you didn't want it. Which sounds so stupid, but, like, it's good for instead of being like, well, this is just how it is, because that instills like that whole, like, oh, well, I'm just gonna do things because this is the way it's always been, and that's not a reason to do things. That's not a reason to do anything. You should question everything, because even if it's a good thing.
That's why I always say question everything.
Yeah, you should. Like, even if it's a good thing. Like, say your family every Sunday, like goes, maybe they go to church or something and they, like, give to charity, or they help and volunteer somewhere. Yeah. It's good. It's a good thing, but you should question why you're doing it. Yeah. Because if you're just doing it because you've always done it, then there's nothing behind, like, again, it's all about intent. There's nothing behind it. Like, think about why I want to do this. Think about, is this a charity I even want to, like, give to? Like, you know what I mean? Or, like, why, you know, if there is even funds for me to give to this charity, like, think about all of it, you know?
Yeah, I would say once you start questioning things, you never stop. You question everything.
Like, that also becomes habitual. You literally, I question myself all the time, and I think that's the only reason I kind of keep the clouds, like, at bay, because it became a habit. Like, every time I'm like, oh, like, I'm not upset about this, I'm like, am I really not upset about it? Yeah. And then I'll be like, no, I'm upset about it. And then
you just have to, like, you have to feel. You have to just, like, feel your emotions.
The quicker you feel with them, the quicker they go away, which is so interesting. Like, the other day, like, or not the other day, but like a week or something ago, I was having, like, I was actually not having, like, a bad day. I had, like, a really bad, like, hour and a half. Oh, like, I, like, rolled my ankle. Like, I had some issue with, like, fucking financial aid. My food got made wrong, all within, like, the same hour. So I was overwhelmed and, like, on the brink of tears. My roommate leaves the room. I cry for literally, like, 10 minutes. And then I was like, okay, is there anything I can do to fix these issues today? And then I was like, no.
Yeah.
And I was like, so I don't need to be stressed out about it.
Yeah.
And I literally played some music I liked that made me feel good, and I was still upset while I was doing it, but I felt my emotions, first of all, in the first place. I let myself cry instead of being like, a lot of people are like, oh, well, I don't want to cry over something that's stupid, and I'm like, is anything stupid?
No, yeah.
Like, you can cry over anything.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're having a bad day, you're having a bad day. It's not stupid to cry about anything. Like, if you feel like you need to cry, then cry. So I'm like, I let myself cry about it, and then I told myself that there's no reason to continue to feel like shit about it, because like a lot of people will feel their feelings, but then stay in that pit. They stay in that pit. Like, you don't want to like wallow in it.
No, cause
you just want to like feel it.
Because then
feel
if
it,
you don't feel it, then it builds up and it bottles up and then it explodes.
Yeah, and if you wallow in it, then you literally let yourself become it. Like, like I could have took all that shit with me throughout the entire day. I could have been like angry at everyone, kind of giving everyone an attitude because I just had a bad hour, which is what a lot of like the older generations do. They like take something and like they let it ruin their entire day. Or I could sit there and be like, you know what, this can't ruin my day because I can't do anything about it today.
Because then things just pile on it. If you let it last, because then you could have something bad happen to you the next day, and if you're already wallowing in that, it's just going to pile up on it.
It's a form of manifestation. If you're wallowing in it and you're just like, I'm having such a shitty day, of course you're going to continue to have a shitty day. If you're giving people attitude,
if you're having bad energy, you're going to keep attracting negative energy, all that shit like that.
So I switched it around. I went to yoga, and I felt like a lot better after that, and I had a great rest of that night, and I just didn't let it, like overwhelm me.
Ooh, so it's gonna cap us in about 5 seconds.
Should we wrap it up?
Yeah. Okay. Well, that was our talk for today.
That was good.
Thank you guys for listening.